Beautiful. We are cooked. What's up, y'all? Deep fried, deep fried. I made Sora. No, not quite. No. I didn't make Sora, but I am teaching a course on how to use it the right way. Give me a sec, guys. I gotta grab my remote. Hang on 1 second. Bro, what is this job? I don't know. It's something. I don't know what I'm doing anymore these days, but at least I'm having fun. All right, so, yo, Ben, why can't you make people explode or blow up? Because I don't want to get kicked off of Instagram. I don't want to get in trouble is kind of the long and short of it. I know I kind of used to make more edgy types of works, and I'm trying to kind of get back into it here and there, but I don't know. I've also noticed the algorithm has really cracked down on some other pages, which is unfortunate, and just sort of has, I don't know, I kind of have to walk a fine line here between pushing the envelope and also staying on the platform. It's a very delicate process. But I think I'm managing just fine. But as far as the edgier stuff, the gorier, creepier whatnots, I do have an appetite for making stuff like that. I just am trying to figure out the best kind of platform to share it to. Maybe X is the right place for that, but how does it break down videos, the algorithm? Are you asking like how the algorithm sorts through videos and decides which one's okay and which one isn't, or something like that? Most used platform? Comfy UI is definitely one of my most used platforms. Not sure if it's my like all-around most used, at least these days. It was last year. I can confidently say last year Comfy was like my bread and butter. And I do still use it on a near daily basis still for a few things, but I also use a lot of other things, like, as you know, Sora is a big one for me right now, and Kling and Free Pick. There's a whole bunch of them, and so let me kind of just sort of get started on something here. And folks, by the way, if you're kind of wondering about all the text that you see on my left, I have a new course out on how to correctly, well, you know, there's a number of different ways. I don't know if correct is the objective term, but the ways that I've been prompting Sora to in order to go viral and get the results that I really, really want. I have a new course out now that sort of walks you through that exact process, as well as shows you a study of existing viral Sora videos, including some of my own. And I just talk about the do's and the don'ts of how to prompt Sora, how to get around sort of the pushback that Sora gives you, the censorship, things like that, and how to approach that. And I wouldn't say fight back against it, because it's not, you're not really fighting Sora, but working within the guidelines of Sora while still getting the results that you want, which is can be a very delicate thing. And there's a process to that I have kind of figured out over time. So the course goes over a lot of really interesting things. I'm really happy with it. I worked really hard on it, and I just hope it helps a lot of people who are interested in going viral using Sora. And I'm happy to answer any questions about that and make a few Sora videos here on stream today for y'all as well. And so let me kind of suss out, first of all, let me not neglect the other channels here. I've got Twitch going, I got YouTube going. If you all want to follow me and watch from a TV or a bigger format, please check me out over on Twitch or YouTube. I'm streaming over there as we speak. What is going on here? There we go. Yeah, so I got my Twitch open, my YouTube open, and of course Instagram. So however you want to watch, you are free to do so. Let's kind of just, I don't even know. Let's kind of goof around a bit, shall we? Maybe I'll do police body cam footage of a wacky inflatable balloon getting arrested at a car dealership. I'm really quite a fan of these like natural looking camera types where it seems like it could have been shot. In other words, I'm really a fan of, you know, Sora prompts that don't end up looking like Sora or like looks like AI. I like things to look as natural and believable as possible, as you can imagine. So like for a video like this, as an example, it pretty much looks like a home video. You know, it looks like somebody shot an actual home video, and that was the result of clever prompting. So what is the difference between Sora 1 and 2? That's a really good question, and I will answer it after this sip. So Sora 1, perhaps there's a misconception, and I would understand why, that like maybe Sora 2 is superior to Sora 1, or the evolution, a better product. I don't view it that way. I really don't. In some ways, yes, it is pushing the envelope forward. It's definitely an evolution of Sora and of AI in general. But the thing to know about Sora 1 versus Sora 2 is they have very unique strengths and weaknesses. Sora 2's strongest strength by far is the text to video side of things. All of these videos you see here posted to my feed are straight up text to video, where I just wrote a prompt using plain text and got a pretty striking result. It does also support image to video, but I haven't been the biggest fan of that yet. But to be honest with you, Sora 2 is also a little bit limited as far as like fun interactive features that Sora 1 offers. So like I would say what Sora 1 is really, really good with, best with in fact, is in the video to video department of things. Taking an existing video clip you already have and running it through and having it do different things like blending, morphing, like you can do different things with an existing clip, whereas Sora 2 is great for creating fresh new clips. But one example on Sora 2 would be like you could take a clip and make it a loop, like a perfect loop. You could remix it and morph it into different things. So like if you have a video of a squirrel running around or an animal of some kind, you could remix it and retain its structure, but kind of like morph it into something different slightly. And so it's really good at doing stuff like that. It's a very unique platform, and it's very different from Sora 2, which I find kind of interesting. Anyways, what's the best result I've gotten with Sora 2? Can we see it? Gosh, I mean, best is really subjective, right? Like, I mean, I think I've gotten a lot of really cool results out of Sora. It depends. Hey, let's see how this turned out. Let me turn the friggin' music down for a minute. Turn the volume up a bit so we all can hear this together. And let's see what this sounds like.
You're being detained. I'm trying. I'm full of air, man. Well, now you're not. Let's get you zipped. All right, it's a misunderstanding. I was just being...
That's so good.
Sir, stop flailing. You're being detained. I'm trying. I'm full of air.
Sir, stop flailing. You're being detained. That's hilarious. I love it. By the way, folks, if the audio sounds weird or anything to you, please let me know. If like my voice is too soft or the music's too loud, just let me know and I'll try and fix it. Which childhood experiences will sneak into your work today? I don't know. It's probably, whatever it is going to be a subconscious effort, I would imagine. But who knows? Anywho, let's bring the volume back down a bit on the computer. Turn the music back on. Is perfect. Nice, perfect. Very cool. Imagine if the inflatable burst. I mean, yeah, and actually I could prompt for that. It would probably come out pretty good. There's other ways I could make that happen though as well. Like if, for example, I really like this video result, and I do, I actually like it quite a bit, I could go ahead and break this into a few different steps. I could start by downloading this and then extracting like the final frame from it, or not even the final frame, just a stopping point of some kind, a point from which the video will diverge into a new clip where maybe we create that burst animation. So how is about we bring this into CapCut real quick, we find a good stopping point. Let's see.
Sir, stop flailing. You're being detained. I'm trying. I'm full of air, man. Well, now you're not. Let's get you zipped. All right, well, I'm in the car. Watch the board. It's a misunderstanding. I was just getting...
Actually, we'll just take the clip as is. I like that final frame. And we're going to grab that final frame using a website. And then from that frame, we're going to essentially make a new video, because I like that idea. I like the idea of it bursting and blowing apart. So let's see what happens. How long have you been generating content? I've been at this for years now. Before video, I was doing image stuff back with like Midjourney and the early days of Stable Diffusion, like 2022, 2023. Ever since then, I've just been like obsessively into this sort of thing. How do you decide a piece is finished versus just less unfinished? Good question. Good question. It's a very subjective thing, obviously, as far as when I decide something's done. I mostly lean on intuition, especially now with Sora 2, where the results come about a lot quicker. Like you kind of, I mean, I still go through extra steps like upscaling and everything, but like Sora 2 is very amazing at just giving you a really usable result earlier on than what I'm used to. And so sometimes when a video is finished on Sora, I'll have the intuition. I'm like, holy shit, that's actually pretty dope. That left an impression on me. I had a reaction to that. And it's this very like intangible thing, right? But like when you see the video and you have the sense that like, oh shit, this could really blow up on Instagram or wherever, it's kind of a non-scientific thing in the end. I guess you could say I just sort of have a good sense for when I really like a result. And sometimes it's pretty obvious, right? Like let me kind of just show you real quick here from an ad that I made earlier on. Kind of shows a good result and a bad result back to back. Let's see if I can't find this real quick here. Sora 2, where are you at? There we go. Okay, so this is an ad I made last week to promote my course, but basically it shows like a really bad result here, followed by a good one on Sora 2. So like this first one's like really bad, of course, and then the second one is like pretty believable. You only see a couple seconds of it, but yeah, like it's pretty self-explanatory, I think. But anywho, pretty wacky, pretty silly. Let's go ahead and try and finish off this inflatable bursting premise. So now that we have our final frame from our first video, it's going to be two videos stitched into one, right? So this is coming from our first video. It's the final frame. We're going to bring it over to, we're going to use FreePic so that I can access, what model do I want to use? I guess I'm going to use Minimax Hilloo 2.3. This just came out like last week. It's really good. Minimax, by the way, guys, is one of the better image to video models out there. If you're looking for really good image to video results, Minimax has always been really, really good at like the motion side of things. It creates really like dynamic and hypnotic motion at times. It's like really trippy stuff. I really like Minimax, but we're going to use it to take our frame here and we're going to use it to create a new video. So we're basically going to prompt it. What skill am I actively leveling up this month? That's a great question. I would say this month, if anything, I'm leveling up the ability, which is a little less related to AI for once. I'm kind of trying to level up my ability to self-market, really, and to push out products and things that I've worked very hard on. So I suppose that would be my answer. But now that we have our image loaded up here, we're just going to type something like the inflatable figure suddenly bursts, causing the cameraman to recoil and shake the camera. Chaos ensues. Let's just see what that ends up giving us, shall we? Let's send that in. Let's also do it as well with a different video model. So we'll have two to compare. We'll do Kling 2.5 with the same prompt. We're going to run that, and we're going to choose which result we like more. That's one of the cool things about FreePick, you guys. This item on FreePick, it's not so much an AI tool itself. It's actually a hub of many different AI tools that you can access pretty easily from one central sort of location. And so that's what you see here with the model dropdown. You have a bunch of video models to choose from. You can do Sora 2 even. They even have support for Sora 2. But they also have Google Veo, Kling, everything really. So really cool website. There's a few of them like them. There's a few things out there like FreePick. FreePick isn't the only one. It's just the one I prefer. What's one thing you refuse to do aesthetically even if it trends? Wow, that's a really good question. Yeah, I mean, I think even I have my limits, right? Like, I do like pushing the envelope. I like body horror and creepy stuff, but like, and some people think I do push it too far in some areas, and I get that. But I think when it comes to stuff like, yeah, I mean, there was a trend a couple weeks ago with Sora 2 videos of like people with Down syndrome, you know, for lack of a better word, doing various things like going on Shark Tank and all kinds of things. That's not a trend I really want to ever jump on. I don't want to sink to that level. Yeah, I mean, it was going pretty viral pretty quickly, and I'm just like, dude, I think this is where my limit is. I'm not gonna do stuff like that. That's why I subbed to you, LOL. For which ones? Which ones did you sub for? The Down syndrome ones? Because I didn't end up making any of those types of videos. But anyways, let's see how this turned out. Oh, nice. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Unfortunately, though, we're not going to have sound effects built in, so we would have to add them after the fact on this extension, on this video extension. This is pretty good. I mean, he doesn't really explode. I guess maybe because I wrote burst instead of explode. Let's try and write explode instead of burst. So the figure suddenly explodes. The inflatable figure suddenly explodes. Let's try running that, see how it looks. The gross stuff in morphing goods. Okay, hell yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of getting back into like, especially the morphing faces. I'm trying to get back into those as well. I think those are a pretty like happy compromise as far as like what's allowed on Instagram while also being pretty shocking and body horror style, without being outright gory or bloody. Although I have pushed the envelope in the past with some of the, especially last year with some of those face like tearing videos where like the mouth would like elongate and stretch and whatnot. Those were definitely pushing the envelope. I think though that because they weren't really overtly bloody, again, it's like a really fine line you got to walk when you post stuff like that on Instagram. And I definitely flew a bit too close to the sun at times. I will be honest. Like I did get a few pieces removed last year, especially around Halloween time, which was unfortunate. But fortunately, I kind of, moved past that and figured out what I can and can't post. And I mean, it sucks to have to self-censor, right? It really does. But you're not hearing me. Sound, please. Am I not coming through, guys? Is the audio not? How's the audio? I just turned the music down a bit. Can you guys still hear me at all? Am I coming through? Or is that just one guy? Hang on, let's see how this turned out from Hello. Oh my god. Whoa, what in the hell? That got really effed up in the end. Look, what the fuck? He like attacks the cop. That's not what I prompted for. That's crazy, man. But anyways. Okay, so you can hear, yes, you can hear. Okay, so it sounds like maybe I'm coming through now. You can hear now. Okay, great. So where do I get my ideas? Do I use Stable Diffusion, Bottleneck right now? Let me answer these one at a time here. The biggest bottleneck right now, do you mean in general? Like the biggest bottleneck as far as what? As far as like translating our ideas accurately into the visual realm? because that seems to be the ultimate goal of any of this AI stuff, right? Is bringing our imagination as realistically into the world as possible. Would that be the bottleneck you're describing? Probably not. That's just my weird brain making assumptions. I mean, there's a number of like sub bottlenecks. Like I would say Sora's censorship is a huge bottleneck to creativity. I hate the sensation of typing in a prompt only for Sora to say that I violated community whatever guidelines. It's a horrible feeling. It's not conducive to creativity at all. In my genuine opinion, I think there's no reason that Sora and these others can't just make you any video result. Like, give me something. Don't just like slap me on the wrist and make me try again. Like, at least deliver a result, even if it's not ideal or the best. I think it'd be productive to like give me some result, and then maybe on the side of that video you could say, listen, this may not be what you wanted, but that's because you know, went against guidelines, but we're going to give you something anyways, just to not waste your time. I think that would be the best compromise, in my opinion. I don't agree ever with these tools just saying no. The one thing I hate about AI is when it says no. Just don't say no. You're a tool. You're supposed to give me something, even if it's not the right thing. Give me something. You know, even Photoshop and all these other tools, at least they give you something as opposed to nothing, even if it's not the result you wanted. And so I'm very, very like deeply philosophically against any of these tools just outright rejecting your prompt, even if it's not safe for work or inappropriate. At least give me something that's inaccurate, but still something. Anyways, that's my podium moment. To be honest with you, censorship is absolute BS, especially for artists. It's just total bullshit. I hate it. Censorship is awful. How can I go live? I don't get it. I don't know. You might need to meet a certain threshold of like followers or something to go live. I know on TikTok, I think you need like a minimum of 1,000 followers to actually go live, which is kind of unfortunate, but Instagram might have a similar setup. So your creativity and imagination are awesome. Oh, thank you for that. It's certainly something. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know where my ideas always come from. I just have a really overly active brain, I guess, that's just constantly, and it's like a good and a bad thing, right? But I guess as far as creativity, it's pretty good. And I just get a lot of inspiration online too. I'm like chronically online on like Instagram and browsing all these different other genius creators who are out there. Like there's so many incredible artistic talents out there that's just like an endless groundswell of inspiration to draw from. And but yeah, all kinds of places do I draw my inspiration. Very good way of explaining. Oh, thank you, David. How's it going? Yeah, I mean, inspiration can come from all kinds of places, right? Thoughts on the current AI sentiment? Actually, before I even answer, let me check other channels, YouTube and Twitch. Anyone over there? So BK over on YouTube says, I think I'd want two models. Give me something within guidelines or tell me if it will probably violate, but don't count it as a video gen. I dig that. Yeah, that's great input, BK. Thank you. Yeah, I think that would be good. Honestly, anything to give the creator a little bit of agency back in their hands, right? Like nobody likes the feeling of just outright being told no when it comes to a tool that especially you're paying for. Like I'm paying you a lot of money per month to use some of these tools in some cases, and it's like you're still gonna just tell me no? Like, dude, give me something. Like, it's just there's a number of words for it. It's belittling. It's very belittling. I think it's infantilizing, and I just don't agree. So, thoughts on AI sentiment? Well, I assume you mean like the whole sort of discourse around pro AI versus anti AI, like people who are for it versus against it. Yeah, I have very complex emotions around that, right? Like obviously I'm very much in favor of AI, and I come up against a lot of folks who aren't, and they're more than willing to share their opinions with me about why what I do is awful and shitty and I should just stop and all this stuff. So I think it's unfortunate that people are so very against it, especially when it comes to other artists who are just outright refusing to use it and acclimate. It's obviously their choice to do that, but I really think they're not doing themselves any favors, especially just as artists, independent of the whole like having a like making money from this type of deal, which is a separate argument. But just in terms of pure like fun and like creative expression, it's really never been a more exciting time, I think, to be an artist and to express your imagination, because the tools are thinning that barrier between the imagination and the real world. It's truly incredible, and so much to be excited about. And of course there's also valid criticisms against how these companies are training their models ethically or otherwise, and just there's definitely certain arguments to be made. But as far as the folks who are just completely outright against AI across the board, I can never understand where they're coming from. I think it's a very pessimistic way to look at the world. And honestly, you're not going to resist it. You're not going to stand in its way. And so why even bother trying? You're only going to disadvantage yourself in the long run. And let's see. Give me a sec, folks. Let's kind of bounce around here a bit, see what's going on. I wonder if digital artists went through the same pushback when the digital stylus was invented. Oh yeah. I mean, I think a number of things, right? Whenever there's a new paradigm that shakes things up, I think it was the case when Photoshop first hit the scene and digital art in general really started taking over. And it never really fully took over, mind you. I mean, maybe in some sectors of society, but that's the thing about any of these paradigm shifts, is that it's not a full-on replacement. It's just a new way of pushing the envelope forward, or maybe that's not the right way of saying it. But what I'm trying to say is that older mediums are never going to fully die out. Like, there's always going to be a market demand for traditional artists and hand-drawn, painted, whatever, anything. That's never going to go anywhere. But as far as mass commercial like adoptability, like I think AI is probably going to be the main go-to for corporations, for better and for worse. But I think as far as just like pure artistic marketing, anyways, I think maybe I want to move on to a different topic. How do you spot a viral trigger before production? I spot a viral trigger by spending too much time online, honestly, and kind of being in really close proximity with other big content creators who are also tapping into viral trends. But then also sometimes I tap into my own viral trends just through raw experimentation and constantly creating and pumping out content. So that's definitely not trivial. Do I pay a lot to generate my videos? I mean, a lot is relative, I guess. This is my business, I view these as business expenses, but like, I think for some people it could be considered quite a bit, especially for like some of these plans, like for Google VO, I think the top plan for that is like $200 a month or something. So some of these plans can get quite expensive for sure. But I think there's affordable ways to approach this. And the more that you find out the strengths and weaknesses of each platform, I think the less money you're gonna have to waste and burn on creating these videos. And that's part of why I try and do what I do, educating folks on which tools to use, how to use them correctly, is to save you money and time, as far as like not throwing things at the wall, seeing what'll stick. Because I've already gone through the shit. I've already gone through like the gauntlet, as it were, of like wasting a bajillion credits trying to see how to make cool stuff. So is Sora the leading software for AI, or is there still competition? It's really hard for me to pinpoint like a definitive leader. It's definitely the leader at certain things at the moment. Sora 2 is, I would say, the leader at like super viral content. Actually, hang on one second. Is my stream acting weird again? Oh, there it goes. Is it still working? Okay, I thought my stream was acting weird. Looks like it's all right. The question was, is Sora leading the pack? It's definitely, it's leading as far as like really quick, shareable clips. Clips that already have sound effects fully intact and ready to go. It's really good at just like things that are poised to go viral on Instagram pretty quickly. Like with any of these others, you're gonna probably have to add custom sound effects, like if you use Kling or Hilluo or any of these. Kling, I think, does their own built-in sound effects, but they're not very good. I think Sora 2 is the best at like overall realism. Like just look how like convincing some of these clips look. They just look, it looks like it could have been shot on an iPhone just like last night, you know? That's a crazy video. Did I have a nice weekend? I did. How was your weekend? Did you have a good Halloween? What do I do for a living, if you can ask? You're basically more or less looking at my living. Like I'm a professional content creator / AI artist. I help people figure out how to make videos themselves. I have clients that I find through the interwebs who I work with, do videos for them. But I also, you know, make money on social media just as a content creator. And that was not an easy process, you know, like that took a lot of work and late nights to finally get qualified for something like that. But yeah, I make money in a number of different ways making videos, and just super fortunate to be in that position. I worked really, really hard for it. So, and just as a quick aside, guys, just to not you know, overdo it or anything with the promos, but I do have a new course out now for anyone who's new here. I made a course on how to use Sora 2 correctly. Sora 2 is this platform that you see right here. All of these videos that I've been making, kind of just how to prompt it correctly, the do's and the don'ts, how to avoid various pitfalls, how to avoid things like this, where Sora will literally outright deny your prompt and tell you no. Kind of just ways around that without, you know, completely violating the guidelines. Various techniques to stay within the guides, but also get the result that you want. There's a very specific sort of roadmap for that. And then just also a basic overall study of going viral, looking at viral Sora videos, some of my own, some of others, and just like why they went viral, sort of the psychology around it. So I think it's a pretty like comprehensive course as far as getting started with Sora in social media virality. And so I'd highly recommend checking it out if you're into that. I worked pretty hard on it, and really happy to share it with y'all. Can I say hi to Laredo, Texas? Hello, Laredo. Okay, so can I give a list of the websites I use that I've mentioned, but in a list form? There's honestly like way too many things to list out for you right now. Like I'm not gonna just outright list every single tool I work with here on stream. I'm kind of just sort of highlighting some of my more popular ones as of late. Like for example, FreePick, this site that you see right here. FreePick is a really, really good place, I think, just to start. And just all around, like I still use it as a daily driver, as one of my main go-tos, because it gives you access to so many other AI tools on platform. For image generation, video generation, image editing, it has a lot of great options for that. Like Seedream 4 is really good for image editing. But yeah, Krea AI, I think, is another really good competitor to FreePick. So if you don't want to do FreePick, you could go to Krea.ai. They have a very similar offering as far as being like a hub for other tools. And then Higgsfield is pretty good too. Higgsfield has access to a bunch of tools like Sora and Kling. And so a lot of these tools are pretty similar in that regard, but FreePick's the one I prefer. Man, my mouth is drying out. Give me a second, guys. I need a break from the questions. Let me, I'll answer them in a bit. Just let me kind of maybe make something, anything. I need to get the creative gears flowing a bit here. So what do I want to kind of slap together? I don't even know, dude. Well, let's maybe come back to our inflatable balloon figure idea. So we redid the prompt a bit to change it to explode. Let's see what happens. Okay, that's pretty good. I actually kind of like that. Let's take our result here. And again, it's not going to have sound effects built in because it was made with Kling. Although Kling does do sound. I don't know. It doesn't have sound though. So let's bring that into CapCut. We're going to tack it on to the end of our first clip like so. And so now we basically have one long continuously extended clip, as you can see right here. It goes from there right into there. And you can kind of see the break where it kind of goes from one to the next. It's not very clean, the transition. So we're going to clean that up a bit. first of all, this is not the right frame rate. Let's bump this up to 30 frames. Where is my course? Oh yeah, so Jerome, good question. My course, you can find a link for my course in my bio. So if you just, on Instagram, if you tap my account and you like go to the top, you should see links on my page. That first link there is a link to the course, to access the course there. So that would be where you would find it. So let me go ahead and take the clip we just made and bump that up to 30 frames. I just like to have frame rate parity. In other words, I like, especially here when I'm doing like a clip extension where I'm working with more than just one clip, and I've made the clips in from different places. Sometimes there's a mismatch of frame rate. Like the first clip I made here with Sora was rendered in 30 FPS, but this new extended clip I made with Kling was only rendered at 24 FPS. And so it's gonna, that could kind of lead to some jankiness in the final result that I'm not too happy with. It's just, yeah, it's gonna be better overall if your entire sequence is the same frame rate, obviously. So I'm just gonna really quickly bump it up to 30 using Topaz AI, which is an upscaling software. It's gonna see how long that takes. Hopefully not that long. When you start from a Spark, what's your pipeline from sketch to first render? Stages, not tools. That's a really good question. And honestly, it's kind of something that is in flux usually. It's not like a defined thing, I think. When you start from a Spark, what's your pipeline? I mean, so sometimes the spark that you mention occurs during the exploration process, as opposed to the whole thing starting with the spark, then precipitating the process. Usually, for me, it's kind of mixed into the whole process of poking around and seeing what sticks. Other times, of course, I will see something inspirational on social media, maybe something that's going viral, and that will spark me to start playing with ideas. But usually, it's kind of just like, I don't even know. It's kind of almost the type of thing that's hard to describe. My process. When I try and break my process down for people, it's so much of it takes place in my mind, and it's not very easy to articulate, like why I decide to use this tool over another, why I go in this direction. It's not, and I know that's not the best of answers, but like it's kind of the truth. How much AI reels should we upload in a day? How much is too much? Good question. Honestly, it might be a different answer for smaller accounts. It's hard for me to say because I'm in a different position, but I have found in recent months that there really isn't much of an upper limit to posting on Instagram, as long as it's not like total slop and as long as it's not like duplicate content. So like you could get away with posting like 10 or even 20, 30 reels in a day if you're capable of churning that much out. And you will see that it can benefit you at times. I have found that it does increase my chances of going viral if I post more in a day versus less. So I think there's definitely a misconception like, oh, you don't want to post too much and piss off your followers. There may be some truth to that, but I also think the algorithm is tactful at not bombarding people with the same account over and over. And so I don't think you have to worry that much about over posting in a day. If anything, I would worry about under posting. I think that would be my best piece of advice. Okay, so we got about 49 seconds left on the frame rate adjustment. And right now I'm on a MacBook Pro, in case y'all are wondering. Let's see what the specs are. I got like a M4 Max, 36 gigs of memory. It's a fairly upper end MacBook Pro. It's not the very top of the line, but it is pretty up there. And so it's good enough for little things like this where I'm interpolating the frame rate from 24 up to 30. But a lot of what I'm showing off here today and a lot of what I do lately occurs in the cloud, which means I just use my browser of choice, Google Chrome, Safari, whatever, to access a lot of these tools. And so for that reason, you don't really need the most powerful rig to get away with a lot of what I'm showing off here, which I think is pretty good. Do I earn from Facebook with this AI video? You know, I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna like outright speak to the exact platforms that end up rewarding me for my efforts, but I will say, I don't know why I'm being vague about it. I don't know if I want to like reveal everything money wise as far as my operation goes. But Facebook has started treating me better. I will say that much. And I have started getting more and more traction over there. But that took a long time, actually. Facebook took a lot longer to pick up than Instagram did for me. But through raw, tenacity and just like persistence, posting every single day, all of the time, my Facebook has finally started picking up. And so, but that took a lot longer than Instagram, I will just say right off the bat. All right, we done here with the, okay, cool. Looks like we have our video at 30 frames, which means we can slide it into our edit and it's gonna look a lot nicer. So we'll kill that, we'll drag this in. And now we have a lot more smooth of a sequence. So let's edit this even further. We're going to trim off a couple frames at the beginning here because there's a few duplicates. And now it's even smoother, but I think we're gonna change the ramping too. We're gonna change the speed. So maybe we're gonna increase the speed of our new clip by like 1.3, I would say, instead of 1x. Now it's 1.3x. And that looks a little more believable, as if it were part of the same clip. Maybe we're even gonna try 2x. Let's see what 2x looks like there. Is this still coming through for y'all? Oh shit, it's not. Oh my God, I hate OBS. Hang on, guys. Sometimes it just stops capturing my screen. It just like, it gets hung up on like an older frame. Oh, it's so annoying. I don't know why the fuck it does that. Okay, there we go. Really fucking annoying. And so we'll do this too. Mac, display. Okay, Jesus Christ. Now we should be good. Now can you all see what I'm doing? Yes. Much better. Okay, so you can kind of see where the cutoff takes place. I mean, well, actually, no, you can't. That's the idea anyway, is you don't want to see where that cutoff happens. And I think we're in a pretty good spot. It looks like one cohesive clip now. And I'm pretty happy about that. And this was 2x'd as well. So let's go ahead and export this. We're just going to do a 30 FPS. And we have our new clip. Pretty cool, guys. Pretty cool. Am I also Syntetico? I don't know what Syntetico is. Is that the name of an account? If so, that is not me, you know. Let's see if any comments are coming from YouTube or Twitch. Nothing really yet. That's okay. Guys, if you have any questions on any of these platforms as far as like the course or just kind of my process, kind of like you're already asking, I'm happy to answer kind of however I can. But I should mention, maybe is a good time to mention this as well. I do offer one-on-one consultations. And so if you're ever wanting to just kind of, I guess, pick my brain for 30 minutes, for an hour, just sort of to understand how any of this works, how you can get started, where best to start as far as what you do, because I know this can be overwhelming. It can be a lot. There's a lot of different ways to approach AI because it does so many things now. I can definitely help guide you in the right direction as far as where to begin, which tools are best for what use cases. And so yeah, if you want to find any links for consultations, things like that, you can find the link to schedule with me in my bio, in my Instagram bio, either for 30 minutes or for an hour, depending on your budget. So my reel that got 1 billion views, how did I do that? I can't remember all the different tools I used for that video, but that was definitely the result of intense experimentation and, again, constantly posting. Like I could not have predicted, honestly, that would have been the video that finally shot up to 1 billion views. Sometimes the algorithm just picks something up that like goes parabolic and just blows up. But I admit that it is a very strange video and it's very odd to look at. I think that had a lot to do with it. Just the fact that it looked like a very natural setting with kind of a very unnatural subject in the middle of it. I think that juxtaposition is a really reliable formula for going viral and for getting people's attention, you know. Give us an invitation code. You mean for Sora 2? Unfortunately, I don't have any of those to give out to you right now, but I am able to point you in other directions as far as how to make Sora videos without the app. Like, you can make Sora 2 videos without having to be in the app, which I try and, you know, point out and demonstrate in my course, as well as on the stream. There are different ways to make Sora. So for example, if you're on Free Pick right here, one of the models that they do offer for video creation is Sora 2. So you just scroll down here, you would choose OpenAI Sora 2 or Sora 2 Pro if you want to spend the money. And you would just prompt it right here and just click generate. And you can do Sora off of Sora. But it will cost a little more money. One of the advantages of having the Sora app on your phone is, I think at least for a lot of people, you do get free video generations. Not that many, you get like a few per day, but at least they are free. So that is a consideration, of course, but yeah, I talk a lot more about it in my course too, as far as like how to use Sora off of Sora and the costs associated with it and all of that. So what else? What else? What should we do? We could do a million things right now, right? Maybe we'll come over to Magnific and kind of mess around with older stuff. One kind of interesting thing I have been doing lately is taking old drawings that I did and reimagining them with AI. And so like, maybe we'll just look at one of these. So like this right here, for example, is an old drawing I made a couple years back. And I'm kind of just reimagining it, retexturing it really, using artificial intelligence and having a lot of fun with that. So maybe we'll do another version like this. So let's reuse these existing settings. Let's use a different style reference. Let's come over to Midjourney, shall we? Midjourney is really good for a lot of things, but one thing it's especially good at is really quickly finding some style references, because it lets you explore what's currently trending and what's doing really nicely right now. And so like if you go to the hot tab over here on the explore page, you can see what's trendy on Midjourney, and you can get a really large variety of disparate, unique styles that wouldn't otherwise be seen in the same place. So it's really good for at a glance, just window shopping different style ideas and things like that. Not advocating to outright copy them or to like reuse these images in a way that isn't respectful to the original creator, but it is a really good visual way to just get quick ideas very quickly. And so for example, I did see this one kind of caught my eye. Where was it? I mean, a few of these are catching my eye. How about we go for like this one, for example? I kind of like this. Actually, it's not. It's a little too busy. I want something that really like strongly gives a style. Okay, this is pretty cool actually. It's just like 3D floral pattern in a black background. We'll just go with that. We'll take that prompt. We will actually, we're gonna make a version of this of our own that we can use for the style reference, just to further abstract ourselves away from that work. They have the prompt also at the inspiration page. Yeah, I know, right? It's awesome. And so I'm gonna borrow that prompt. I'm actually using that prompt right now to create my own version. And then I'm gonna use one of these pictures as my style reference. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of any of these results. Let me play with some of, oh, you know what? That would be why. The aesthetic sliders on Midjourney, I have them all cranked up to 1,000. And so it's, the results are gonna be kind of wonky. So let me reset that. Let's run it again. Now let's see what we get. Should be a lot more interesting. Sometimes guys, I just, if you ever use Midjourney, I like to mess around a lot. Like I like to just crank everything way, way up, like the weirdness factor, the variety factor, because it's really such a grab bag as far as like what you could end up with. But yeah, see, now that I've reset it, we're getting much more consistent, beautiful results. Like this is beautiful, for example. Look at that. Let's go with that, actually. I'm going to take that, going to save that, come back to Magnific. We're going to plop that in as our style reference, like so. You see we have my drawing included as the structure reference, and then it takes two inputs, well, three really. The first is the prompt, second is structure reference, and third is style reference. And so our new flower thing we just made is going to be the style ref, and we're just going to run that and see what we get. And folks, I do kind of have a hard cutoff in about 15 minutes or so from now. So just to give you kind of an idea of when this is going to go until, but you know, I've really, really enjoyed having you here today, as I always do. Love answering those questions and just getting to know y'all. It's really fun to meet people who are just as obsessed with this stuff as I am. All right, so let's close out some stuff, dude. We don't need all of this to be... Okay, cool. Here we go. Actually, let's move these into their own separate windows as well. Twitch. All right, so we got our stream windows in one window. Perfect. Roman on YouTube says, the first time I saw that clip, I for sure thought it was real, freaked me out. I'm not sure which clip you're referring to at this point. I apologize. I feel like I didn't catch the comment in time. But if you're talking about like Sora videos or anything, yeah, I mean, Sora creates some very believable types of results, almost too believable at times, which has garnered some complaints from people, understandably. But yeah, it's crazy how real this stuff is getting, you guys. Like, this looks like disturbingly real. It really does. And sorry for any feedback noise. This friggin' gardener outside is kind of annoying all of a sudden. I don't know why they're doing that today, but it kind of sucks. Oh well, we'll deal with it. Fuck it, we ball. Thank you, Eddie. I really appreciate the compliment. Thank you very much. Man, can you not use the leaf blower right now, bro? It's so fucking annoying. Okay, so let's... Ooh, that's cool. Look at that. Look how beautiful that looks. So let's kind of zoom in on this one right here. I really like what we got just now. Isn't that cool, you guys? The drawing itself is already pretty conducive to the premise. Like, in other words, the style picture that I used was already pretty floral, and the drawing is already kind of floral. And so I think the AI knew to kind of elegantly weave those two ideas together. Oh, that air blower is driving me nuts, bro. I can't stand gardeners. Oh, Roman says the billion view vid. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that one especially, and maybe that's what kind of contributed to it blowing up in the way that it did. But it does have this very real style to it, which then a few seconds later has a very unreal style, and I think it really throws people off. So that's a really good observation. I really like making videos that make people double take and have to really watch something a second or a third time because they think they knew what they were looking at first, but on closer inspection realize that something was very, very wrong. And yeah, it's a fun thing to do. Very, very fun. And so where does this leave us at this point, guys? I probably didn't make as many Sora videos as I intended to on stream. I at least made the inflatable tube man. But we can at least enjoy some of what I've made. Like this mukbanger who's doing his thing in the back of a truck, but then he falls off. I actually think I should post that. I'll probably post that later today. I love that. It's ridiculous. But yeah, another cool thing you can do real quick, guys, and I do go over this in the course as well, is kind of just to like, first of all, on the Sora 2 homepage, you can sort by For You, Following, Top, and Latest. I like to go to the Top tab because it really gives you a glimpse into some stuff that might be really trendy at the moment. Not necessarily a reflection of what's trending elsewhere, like on TikTok or Instagram, but at least as far as what's trending here on Sora. And that is still a pretty good indication of what might end up doing well in other places too. And so a really good practice would be that, like, that's really cool. Like, I think something like that, and look how real it looks. Again, it's crazy how real these things are getting. But, you know, a great thing that Sora 2 lets you do is remix videos into something of your own. And so maybe what I'll do here is I'll click the remix button. I'll type something like change the bears to, I mean, it could be anything, right? A pack of ravenous, large leeches with sharp teeth and a wiggly disposition. I don't even know what that means. That doesn't mean anything. But you know what? It's going to give us something interesting. I know that much. So we're going to run that remix, and we're going to do it like 2 or 3 times. Because another thing with Sora 2 is that oftentimes, actually, you're not going to be in love with the first result. It can really help to run the same prompt through multiple different times, because sometimes you end up with a radically better result after running it through a bunch of times. So your videos always fire. Oh, thank you so much, Amir. I really, really appreciate that. Very, very nice of you to say that. So let's kind of see what happens there. So I think, and this would be a really good entry point into just like quickly churning out something that has a better chance of going viral. Now, it's never a guarantee of going viral, ever. I'm never going to make that claim. But in terms of upping your odds of going viral on like Instagram, it's a pretty good strategy to look at existing trending videos such as these and then remixing them into something of your own. I never advocate for outright just like downloading one of these and posting it yourself. That's not what I'm sort of saying here. But a really nice compromise is this feature that Sora gives you where you can remix an existing video into something of your own. Like, look at that. That's pretty funny. That's cute. I like that. That's hilarious. Maybe let's play with this too. Change the dogs into a stack of pretty women with the bodies of Dachshunds. Dachshunds. Is that how you spell it? How do you spell it? Okay. I don't know why I thought of Dachshund. It's just so random. But you know what? That's what we do here. We do random bullshit. Change the dogs into a stack of pretty women with the bodies of Dachshunds. Hell, let's just go for it. Let's see what it does. What? What are you talking about? All right, so there's that. Let's see how the results are coming out. This music's pretty slamming. All right. All right. There we go. Okay, cool. So our videos appear to be done. Okay. Creepy. That's pretty cool. It's not very realistic looking. There's a lot that could be improved. It's cool to see the concept in action right away, though. I feel like if I were to slightly adjust the prompt more, and run it a few more times, we would get a more realistic result. Hang on one second. Why does it always go to that song? Suno's annoying. Yeah, so again, guys, that's kind of cool. So when you run the same prompt through Sora over and over, like I was saying earlier, it's a really important thing. You're gonna run through a few more credits than you otherwise would, but the trade-off is that you will end up with a better result in the end. So I will support your course. Oh, thank you so much, Eddie. I really I appreciate that immensely. If you have any questions about it, like what you're gonna get out of it or whatever, please feel free to message me or just ask it right here. I'll try and help you where I can, but I appreciate that. Yeah, so many tabs. I'm the master of having way too many tabs, unfortunately. Okay, so I got like 1 or 2 more minutes here. What can we just do in that time? I think the best we're gonna get is to see the results of this, this dog doorbell video that I just prompted. Let's see what we get there. Have you printed any of your art to hang on or somebody else's wall? Well, I mean, kind of. Not like, I'm trying now. Dude, I've done like so many different like types of art and stuff. As far as my drawings, I haven't like done a whole lot of prints of those yet. It's something I've thought about for a while. I do want to do larger prints of my drawings, but I haven't really gone into that too heavily yet. No. Oh, look at this. That's crazy. Look at this result. Come on, bro. That's kind of silly. The last girl down here is a dog, I guess. That's kind of weird. Yeah, so these are not the greatest of results. You're not always going to get winners here on Sora, but again, that's why you have to keep... Oh, that's actually kind of good. Okay, it's decent. I would give that like a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. But anyways, guys, I got to head out. I got some stuff to be doing. As much as I want to keep streaming for y'all, because this is like super fun for me. I love getting to meet you. Maybe I'll be back on later tonight. If not, I'll be back tomorrow around the same time. But yeah, folks, thank you so much for being here, for supporting my work in whatever way you deem fit. You know, just by being here and asking me questions, it means the world to me. It really does. So, but you know, I'll catch you later, and take care. Have a safe week. Bye.